I know why my husband ended himself. It was in 2018. He'd been struggling with depression and we had a 16-month-old. He had a very toxic, covertly incest relationship with his mother and an abusive one with his father. Both parents shared drugs with him as a child and contributed heavily to his addictions. We moved halfway across the country to get away from them both and everything was going really well, but suddenly his mom showed up on our doorstep one day. She'd sold her house, that she'd had for almost 40 years, had taken early retirement and moved into an apartment down the street. She said she missed him. She told me he'd never make it without her. The next month everything changed. Fell apart. I had no idea that was all the time we had left. His drinking got insane. He'd always been a bit of a lush because he had a lot of physical pain, scoliosis, but he got fired for drinking on the job. I know now he also relapsed and was trying to hide it. A week before he died we got in a fight about money, about me not giving him any because I knew he was wasting it, and he came home intoxicated and backhanded me while I was holding our daughter. I had never seen him like this. I remember screaming and running to the nursery and he busted the door open and hit me again. Both times I fell to the floor. He'd never touched me in anger before. I remember I put our baby in the crib and stood up to fight, but he left again. When we saw each other the next day I had a black eye. I was also set to sign a contract on my new store after months of training, a managing partner at a restaurant. I got creative with the makeup. Creative with the backstory and pretended I opened a door the wrong way and slammed into it with a coworker present as a witness.
Ha 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 ha, so funny.
He didn't speak to me for most of the week. Not out of anger but of shame. I asked what we were going to do about it. Were we going to talk about it? He said no because he knew I'd forgive him, but he couldn't forgive himself. 5 days passed. He insisted I get a new, used, car because our old Camry was constantly needing to be fixed and bought me an Escort off Craigslist. He was supposed to work his new job that upcoming Sunday, but it was right before Halloween and he said instead we were going to a pumpkin patch and dressed our daughter up. We spent an exorbitant amount for us. Our regular work schedule was him working days and me nights and switching off daycare PU and spending time with our daughter. That Monday he fell apart again and began calling my cell and work numbers repeatedly, telling me he couldn't watch her. That he was angry, irritable, and felt out of control of himself. He said he thought he might hurt her, that she wasn't safe. He said he needed some time off. I was in the middle of a review while managing a store of 20 people when he dropped her off and I had to beg daycare to take her. I was also the only income we had at the time. He came home briefly that night, yelled a lot, put 2 holes in the wall and ripped the banister off the wall and left. I had no money to give him so he left. I had never seen him like this. Usually I stayed up late but I was exhausted and our daughter needed me. In the morning, I saw him asleep on the couch. I remember thinking we were probably going back to rehab and I needed to figure out how to keep his mom away. I didn't kiss him because I knew it would wake him. When I got home that night I was rushing. He hadn't responded to my texts and we needed to pay the electric bill and grab our daughter from daycare. And talk. He was in bed. When I touched him. Cold. I tried CPR but he was gone. He left me a box of journals filled with love letters and so much pain. Detailing how he couldn't get away from his mom and she was making him choose one of us, but it doesn't matter because he's turning into his dad. He'd already hit me and knew he'd inevitably hit our child too. His mom had been enabling him and buying/paying for the drugs because he was in pain since he was 12 and he said he couldn't do it anymore. He had to be free. He purposely overdosed with a bottle of his antidepressants and a gram of cocaine that I know his mom bought. She was also the last person he spoke to before he died. After he died, she tried to impersonate me and take his body and she pressured the funeral home for a death certificate, which I've refused to give her. She also told the police we were in the middle of a divorce and insisted she was next of kin. She then made a scene at the funeral and threw herself, sobbing, on his casket, and had to be carried out. The funeral home director actually pulled me aside, apologized, and suggested the reason she was so desperate for a certificate was because she had a life insurance policy on him. Which is what the coroner also suggested when I called to see if the autopsy was done, and he gently said I didn't need to call every day, but I wasn't. After he died, she immediately packed her bags and moved back halfway across the country after she reported me to cops for not letting her see her grandbaby. When I finally got the autopsy results I let her know, ended his own life. She said well that's that then and hung up. She spent the last 4 years arguing the COD and trying to rally his family to convince me as well that it was just an overdose because then she can collect on the policy. The job she retired from? A drug abuse family crisis counselor. I'm never letting that happen.